Harvard. Our students adore you, and you've demonstrated all day that you adore them. And on behalf of the President of Harvard University and our deans, Dean Smith, who could not be here with us today, we hope he will landing soon, but on behalf of all of the Harvard students in the Harvard community, we'd like to present you with this award. If I may read, please, from the text. It says, Harvard University, the Harvard Foundation, presents this honorary commendation to the distinguished international artist, Shakira, Artist of the Year 2011, to mark the occasion of her visit to Harvard College and to recognize her outstanding contributions to Latin and popular music, humanitarian causes, and intercultural relations. Given at Cambridge, Massachusetts in the year 2011, and at Harvard College, the 375th year. Signed, President Drew, Gilpin, Faust, yours truly as well. May we present you with this special...
Wow. Thank you so much. President Faust, Dean Smith, who's coming soon, Dean Fitzsimon, Professor Easter, Dr. Counter, my dear friend Howard Buffett, and the students of Harvard University. Thank you so much for the honor you paid me today. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. I've had an amazing day here in Harvard, and I feel extremely humbled with this award. Now, I graduated school when I was 15, and except for taking a history course at UCLA in the summer of 2008, I promise you I haven't been in a classroom. So, as I entered the premises today, I had to call my mother and tell her, hey Mom, guess what? I got into Harvard. Only for a day. But I have it all worked out with admissions. That was easy. Now, normally, when I get on stage, and for the sake and sanity of the audience, I'm allowed to sing and dance only. So you'll have to excuse me today and forgive me for making the most of this occasion and abusing the podium and sharing some of my thoughts. Because, you know, not every day I'm presented with an opportunity to talk to a group of people that soon will plant relevant ideas in the heads and hearts of generations to come. So, don't blame me. Don't blame me if I like to share today some of my thoughts. Some of the thoughts that crossed my mind when I was coming here on the plane ride that took me here, and things that I've learned from people I've known through my trips while advocating for education in the developing world. Now, I don't have to tell you about the power of education. This is the place where the brightest and the best have come to study, to learn, and to teach for well over 300 years. Your predecessors, the graduates of this university, and a few of her dropouts, have gone on to shape this country and our world for the better. So you have, just like I do today in receiving this award, big shoes to fill. But that's a challenge that I'm sure you will relish, for you're not at Harvard by accident or luck. It's your intelligence and your hard work that got you here. And there's nowhere better to help you shape your human potential than this great place of learning. Not everyone can study at Harvard University, of course, but everyone, wherever they live, whatever their background, deserves the chance to make the most of his and her potential. Now, as you will know, I'm no Mother Teresa. And people who dedicate their lives to changing those of children around the world. It is they who should be on this stage before you, talking about education, but not all of them have this chance. Today I do. What I am is a little woman with a big mouth. A woman who has been blessed with a big platform to lend her voice for those who don't have one. And as a child of the developing world, it is my duty to use this voice in every way I can to promote the message about the power of education to change lives. The scandal is that many millions are condemned forever to live a life of poverty and segregation even before they become adults. I saw this all around me when I was growing up in Colombia and in Latin America, which is the most unequal region in the world. I learned that in Latin America, as is the case right across the developing world, that if you're born poor, you will die poor. I remember vividly growing up in my hometown, Barranquilla, and I saw children near my house who were smart and vivacious, with enormous talent. Children who probably sang and danced much better than me, but they were living in the streets with nothing, no hope, no future. As a child, seeing all this made me sad, but more importantly, it made me angry. Now later in life itself gave me the chance to channel all that inconformity when I realized that there were solutions to these issues. And thank God, because so much anger cannot live in such a small body. So I soon understood that the more we talk about those things that bother us, that seem impossible to be fixed, the more we can fix them. No child has to die poor or unfulfilled just because he or she were born poor. I know for a fact that with a bit of effort and a ton of conviction, fate can be changed. We know that implementing universal education is hard, especially to create political will and to reform culture. But let's be bold. We have the ideas, the intelligence, the human resources. Governments, they have the monies. Come on. And the young people, we have the influence. The ball is in our court. If we all want the eradication of poverty, promoting education for all will be the fastest vehicle to take us there. 200 million children live without any access to any primary or secondary education. Now, this can only be a synonym of hunger, resentment, violence, slavery, discrimination, war. Education is the way to guarantee this doesn't happen and to ensure global security and economic development. It's the best strategy for peace. After all, isn't that what poor countries and rich countries both want? So why wait, right? I think, and we all know that education is a good deal, good business for all. I like to think of those 200 million children around the world who don't have any access to primary or secondary school as 200 million minds that can reach their full potential and become the scientists and inventors of tomorrow, and the teachers and the artists and the environmentalists of tomorrow, and the doctors who can cure our illnesses, and the wonder makers of tomorrow. I'd like to imagine the world in a few years from now as a big think tank, revolutionary, with vital ideas generated by children that today live in remote and vulnerable places in the world. That's my dream. I believe in humanity and its enormous potential. And I believe we're only at the threshold of what we can all achieve. The best is yet to come. Lo mejor está por venir. And it is precisely in times of economic crisis, like this one, when we should focus on harnessing educated minds. Because it's been historically proven that educated minds will become the foundation of wealthy societies. But we all know that this cannot be left in the hands of governments alone. We don't have the time for bureaucracy. we don't have the time for them to make decisions, and while we wait, infinite human potential goes to waste every day. And millions of children are losing the opportunity to develop their talent, remaining excluded and ostracized from society. That's why citizen activism is so vital. Now you might be wondering how I became so interested in the value of education. Well, I'm only a student on these issues, but I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated with the way investing small efforts in education can guarantee big results over a short period of time. For over 14 years, we've been working in Colombia, hand in hand with Mariana Mejia, through Barefoot, the foundation I established in my country when I was 18 years old. And since then, we've been building schools in areas of extreme poverty and conflict, working with internally displaced families, and we have built 6 state-of-the-art schools, offering support to 30,000 families and quality education, as well as nutritional meals. Creating a comprehensive model of education in which the school becomes the center and heart of an entire community. The most rewarding thing about working on this project is to see how, with only $2 a day per child, children who could have been recruited by the military, paramilitary groups or the guerrilla groups are now on their way to college. And we're happy to share that some of our students have achieved the highest national scores in state testing this year. And believe me, a few years ago we would have thought this impossible. But today we know that all these changes occur in a matter of time, of just a few years, when the investment in education is comprehensive. We all hear all the time how education transforms lives. Well, I'm telling you, I have seen it happen. Not once or twice, but time and time again. That's why I'm so convinced about all this. Sure, we also work with governments in partnership with them, but if there's something I have learned these years, is that once the private sector gets its hands on a school project, then the government can't refuse to participate. So as citizens, we can only push and push and push and push our leaders to get involved with issues that are not always at the top of their political agendas. Also, I find that if we work to inspire the younger generations, then they will become more and more impatient and more active. Speaking of youth activism, at my last performance in Madison Square Garden, I remember there were some kids that I met after the show. And to my surprise, they handed me the usual letters, which I assumed were fan letters, but instead, inside were donations to sponsor children in my country. And that moved me. And like them, I have met countless students that have told me how they have spent their vacations volunteering in Haiti, or in Colombia, or in El Salvador. And I realize it is through volunteering in countries across the world where young people are making a difference today. Every day, more of us understand that the world is a small neighborhood, and that if there is a kid with an empty stomach in Bangladesh, or a Latino kid, the son or a daughter of an immigrant, who can't attend school in the United States, that kid should be concerned and a responsibility to all of us. And also through this journey, I've had the chance to meet with experts that have taught me amazing facts that have completely broadened my vision on the impact of education. For instance, how just one year of primary school means 10 to 20% increase in wages in an adult life. Every dollar